One woman said, I've called 50 people and even more, 60 people, 60 funeral homes. And they were just going down the list. And they were like, can you come and pick up mama? Can you come and pick up my uncle? It was like living in the twilight zone.
I've never felt like I couldn't breathe in my life. And you see on the news, these people are dying. And so as I'm laying in a bed, I'm completing my will because I'm sitting here and I can't breathe. So it was hard. It was really hard.
So you can just come and step in. So see these, the racks? So all of this was filled up.
Early on, it was very difficult. It was difficult because people couldn't see what I saw. We had a daily infection rate at one point of 68%. Many of our folks don't even know that's going on. They don't know the numbers. They don't know how many people's dying. They don't know how many people are sick. They don't know how it's affecting black and brown people. I have to make that point salient to our folks over and over again. I had to say our prescription is different from everybody else's. They say, Mary, why are they doing that in that town? I have to say, I don't care what they're doing over there. Them people don't look like us. They don't live like us. They have a different prescription than we have. When you go to the doctor, he don't give you the same prescription as he gives to the next person.
I tested positive for COVID early March, and I didn't know what was happening. I was fine one day, and then the next day, I woke up struggling to breathe. I went to the hospital. I waited 6 hours. The hospital gave me nothing. They just gave me suggestions on how to sleep, and that was basically it. I went back home.
I mean, it may be a little uncomfortable, but at least if you find out something is present, at least you know what to do.
I don't know that they could have done or given me anything different, but it felt like that wasn't what was supposed to happen when you go to the hospital. Normally, when you go to the hospital, you get a prescription or they do a test. And I've heard from other people who tested positive where they did x-rays and body scans and all these other different tests that they do at the hospital. And I didn't get any of that. And I sat outside for 6 hours. They didn't offer me anything, not a blanket, not anything. Like, what is this?
The worst race riots since those 2 years ago in the Watts section of Los Angeles rocked New Jersey's largest city, Newark, for 5 consecutive days and nights. At least 24 persons are killed, more than 1,800 wounded, some 1,400 arrested.
1967 was the rebellion, and this is what helped to get people out of the city. So most of the people didn't leave because of the rebellion. Most people left because the federal government subsidized their ability to go buy homes in the suburbs. And they did that. And most working class white Americans benefited from it. And while the federal government policy for everybody else was giving people low interest loans, they built more projects in Newark per capita than any other city in America. And so we get the name Brick City.
And this is what's going to change it. When we get jobs, when we can have money to support our children, when we have the money to support our own selves and have homes like everybody else has, we don't have to live in this.
Living in the county, there is a lot of multi-generational homes. And there are a lot of apartment complexes and units and multi-unit. That is a contributing factor.
People will tell you, like, the first people that moved in some of these places, that it was nice, that it was a community, that these things and that thing. But very shortly, they became dilapidated, right? Nobody cared for it. There was no programming, no employment, no other things that went with it. And so you watch the deterioration of housing and people on top of each other. And the housing stock is the same as it was 50 years ago. And so it's difficult for a family to actually socially distance and quarantine in those places. And if we can't do that, I mean, what are you gonna do? But get everybody around you sick.
I think we have racism and discrimination on every tier of our society. Every tier. I mean, there's no question about the fact that we don't have the appropriate access to medical care in the urban area. The facts have proven it. Facts have absolutely proven it. Okay? The giving out of funds, where we put our testing sites. I said to myself, we got people's lives at stake. We got people disproportionately dying. We have individuals who can't make it to those particular places because they can't get a bus out there and they don't have a car. What do? Die? What do they do?
Blessed assurance. I have never had a double funeral. I serviced a minister. His mom passed away as well as his sister. And I was fine, until they got there, until they got here and they were both laid out here at one point, and I just kind of lost it.
Isolation gives you time to make sure that you put all your ducks in a row, as they say. You don't know what it takes to get better. You don't know when you're going to get better. You're told, oh, go home, you're healthy, you'll be fine. But you don't feel fine. And truthfulness has to come from our elected officials. Like, people can't sugarcoat this for us.
My biggest fear is that this thing comes back in a second wave. If we get another pandemic next year, the year after that, it's going to have the same effects on our community because the inequity is not gone. We don't have access to health care and the doctors. The emergency room is our doctor. They're telling people, go to your primary care physician to get tested. Well, nobody got no damn primary care physician, right? We don't even have no doctors on our block. We can't go down the street to the doctor's office. You gotta go to Medi-Merge. These kind of inequities, until they're addressed, anything that happens is gonna have a greater impact on our communities, always. And we just have to know that until it's addressed, we're gonna have to put other things in place to protect ourselves.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, check out these other videos from USA Today to stay up to date with all the latest news.